important source of income for many Filipinos. Some go as far as other countries to provide for their families. But some take advantage of this and dupe their fellow countrymen in exchange for money. In 2010, a total of 1,648 cases were handled by the Philippine Overseas Employment Agency, or POEA. The Commission on Filipinos Overseas has admitted that one of the problems with solving illegal recruitment is due to lack of funds and the indefinite number of Filipinos who are employed abroad. How will the government stop illegal recruitment? And are they doing enough to prevent this from happening to more people? How will Filipinos know if the agencies they are applying for are legitimate? What should people look out for when applying for jobs abroad? Good evening, I am Attorney Karen Jimeno and you are watching Legal Help Desk on the Solar News channel. This show is about making the law work for you by giving legal advice on topics that matter to you.
And I'm Attorney Rod Nepomuceno. Tonight, we will be discussing on the topic of illegal recruitment. What you need to do if you're a victim of this and what you need to know to avoid being a victim of this crime, no? Illegal recruitment. Ayan, very close to our hearts.
Yes, because the reality is, most jobs abroad really offer higher salaries. Kaya naman more Filipinos are applying for jobs abroad and then more Filipinos are being victims of illegal recruitment.
Yeah, myself, personally, I've worked abroad. No? So I guess the first thing that we need to define no? is what is recruitment and placement.
So, well, I'll start with defining what's called simple illegal recruitment. And this is basically the act of canvassing, enlisting, contracting, hiring, or procuring workers to work abroad, even if it's not for profit, whether for profit or not, but by persons or entities without a license or authority from the POEA.
So even if you don't charge, diba? Even if you don't charge.
But what's interesting is you can even commit illegal recruitment even if you have a license or authority from POEA.
Yeah, that's right. There are a number of ways, no? Even if you're not licensed, or even if you are licensed, even if you're a licensed agency, there are a number of ways. One is excessive charges, charging excessively.
Placement fees.
Misrepresentation. If you misrepresented anything about the employment or recruitment of the employee, if you misrepresented anything regarding the application, your application for a license, no?
Or even if you tell other people or another agency not to hire this worker because they did not apply through your agency.
Right.
And an interesting ground then of illegal recruitment, even if you're licensed, is that if you own a recruitment agency and you're also operating or managing a travel agency.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Bawal din yun.
Yeah.
So you can't do both. No?
Yes.
You can't be a travel agency at the same time a broker.
Yes.
Or a
and
broker,
I'd like to also answer this question, Rod, because someone asked me from Twitter earlier, when does illegal recruitment constitute economic sabotage? And this is an interesting point because illegal recruitment becomes economic sabotage if it is committed on large scale or by a syndicate. And
you have to define that.
Yes.
You have to define that.
Illegal recruitment is considered large scale if the victims are 3 or more persons.
Yeah, and
so that's the magic number, 3.
Yeah, large scale yun.
Yes.
Now, if it's syndicated naman, if it's performed or it's committed by 3 or more persons.
Yes.
No? And where they they confederated with each other. So that's what makes it syndicated. And it's important to differentiate that because the penalties are a lot bigger.
If it's simple, illegal recruitment, the penalty is imprisonment from 6 years and 1 day to 12 years or a fine of 200,000 to 500,000 pesos.
Kung economic sabotage naman, that means if you have 3 or more victims or it was syndicated, it was committed by 3 or more persons, then the penalties are large. And the fines, 500,000 to 1 million pesos. No? And the imprisonment is life imprisonment.
Yes.
So medyo matindi. No? Medyo matindi yung ating mga penalties for illegal recruitment. So you have
and
to
the
be
maximum
really
is
careful.
Imposed if the victim is under 18 years of age.
Tsaka yung importante rin dyan yung the prescription period. The prescription period of so for illegal recruitment, it's 5 years So in other words, within
You have
5
to
years, you have to
file
file it.
within 5 years.
Now, for ano naman, yung mga economic sabotage, 20 years yun. So even if it's 20 years ago, nangyari, you can
Pwede
still
ka
file a
pang
case.
magreklamo, Now I think that we should go to answering questions from our viewers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Okay, let's answer a question from our viewer. Jessica from Facebook asks, I want to work abroad to provide a better life for my family. How can I not become a victim of illegal recruitment? What should I look for when applying to an agency?
Yes.
There are a number of tips
there
you can
are
give.
some tips. One,
Yeah.
make sure you're dealing with a licensed recruitment agency. And then, when you're dealing with a recruitment agency, make sure it's an authorized representative. And then, also, make sure that you only transact business within the registered business area, yung registered business address nila. You can check this with the SEC or POEA. If it's in a province, check if they have a provincial recruitment authority.
Yeah, and also it's also important, do not pay any placement if, let's say, there's no contract yet or there's no official receipt. All right, so that's very important, and we'll tell you a little later on what the usual or the standard placement fees are. And then also, don't be enticed by mga ads that tell you that you have to submit your documents and your payment via PO box. You shouldn't be doing that. And also try to avoid travel agencies and training centers that promise you employment overseas.
Because they're not even allowed to be recruitment agencies.
That's one of the one of the acts for illegal recruitment. Also, try to avoid fixers and try to avoid yung sinasabi nga nila, try to avoid getting or para accepting a tourist visa. It has to be a work visa. All right, so yeah.
And now we have a caller on the line.
Right.
And I think his name is
Marco. Yep.
Hello, good evening po.
Hi, Marco.
Good evening, Marco.
Good evening po. Good evening, attorneys. I have a question. I applied as a nurse to the UK at a certain agency. Then I applied I paid for the fees, and then sinubmit ko na po lahat ng requirements. And they told me that they will contact me again when they have the plane ticket, and I should be ready to leave by first week of this January po. This is already the third week and I still haven't heard from them despite calls. Can I already file a case for illegal recruitment against them?
Okay. Well, Marco, you can, if you feel that you're already a victim of illegal recruitment, meaning despite follow-ups, hindi nila sinasagot, you should have left by first week of January, ngayon 3 weeks na, wala pa rin, and wala silang explanation for this, then you can already report them to the anti-illegal recruitment branch of the POEA.
Yeah, that's right. And also, there are possible two causes of action here. No? One is misrepresentation regarding your employment and recruitment, and the other one is failure to deploy you without any fault on your part. Those are two valid cause of action.
There are also grounds for alleging illegal recruitment. And also, you can go even to the NBI and report them. You can also go to a prosecutor from the regional trial court. So marami kang options. And I think there are also some NGOs. We have a guest from an NGO. And this is what they do. They actually assist mga victims of illegal recruitment.
So I guess we can start that discussion in a short while.
So let's take a short break. Legal Help Desk will return after these reminders.
Ako si Crisbel Caringal Abordo. Nabiktima ako ng large-scale illegal recruitment. Nagtatrabaho ako sa tindahan ng motor. Bali naging customer namin siya. Si Cora Gabiola. Bibili siya ng motor. Tapos kinausap niya ako kung gusto ko daw mag-receptionist sa Korea. Nung una, sabi niya, wala kang gastos. Tapos bago ka umalis, meron kang cash advance na makukuha pang gastos mo. Tapos tinanong ko naman yung recruiter, si Cora Gabiola, na kung pwedeng magsama or kamag-anak ko na mag-a-apply din ng trabaho. Tapos inano ko yung pinsan ko, lalaki, sabi niya, pwede naman, kaya lang hindi niya gagastusan. Siya bahala sa lahat. Mabilis lang, mga 2 weeks lang daw mapaparas na kasi may uuwi daw, kailangan ng tao. Ang trabaho naman niya sa factory. Yung mga papers namin, mga valid ID, mga documents, ipa-fax daw sa Korea. Through fax ang gamit daw niya. So, i-scan, ipa-fax. Doon yung magbabayaran. Magkano daw isa? Bali, isang transaction, isang fax ng mga documents, maabot sa 1.5. Fax at scan pa lang daw yun ng dokumento. Pumupunta kami sa kanila. Bibigay yung pera, ganun. Tapos nitong mga ilang araw na, kailangan na madalian. So, no need na pumunta sa kanila. Sabi niya, meron daw siyang account. So, ipasok na lang daw dun sa account niya. Tapos, para, iwas sa oras, pamasahe, pagpunta doon. So, through bank ang transaction namin. Bali, ito po yung listahan ng mga nakuha nila sa aming pera. Almost 129,100. Ang ginawa namin, pumunta kami nag-consult kami sa abogado na kung pwede kasi nga magbibigay siya ng pera. Sabi naman kahit daw magbigay siya ng pera, may kaso pa rin siya kasi nagawa niya na yung pagre-recruit. So pumunta kami sa police station. So pagpunta namin sa police station, nag-file kami ng case. So nagka-hearing. So hindi siya dumating sa mga hearing na yon. Kaya ang natuloy yung kaso na isyuhan din siya ng warrant. Pero hindi rin siya nahuli. Hanggang sa ngayon, wala pa rin balita sa kanya. Pakiramdam ko, para ako mababaliw kasi nga parang hindi ako matulog. Ang na lang sa kamag-anak ko, basta magdasal na lang tayo, kung ano yung mangyari, mahuli, makulong siya, kung mabayaran, salamat, at maibabalik natin. Tapos kung hindi, basta ang gusto namin, makulong siya para wala na siyang mabiktimang ibang tao.
You are still watching Legal Help Desk on the Solar News channel. We are now joined by our guest, Attorney Geraldine Mendez, Officer in charge of the Anti-Illegal Recruitment Branch of the POEA, and Attorney Honorata Victoria, Chairperson of Kanlungan Center Foundation, Incorporated. Welcome, Attorney Ryan and Attorney Vicky.
All right. So let's start with
the case of Belle.
Yeah, with the case of Belle. No? What are your initial thoughts regarding?
Alin dito yung mga from the start pa lang when she was narrating, yung parang red flags or warning signs na that they were dealing with an illegal recruiter?
First and foremost, yung kanilang recruitment activities outside the office. So dun lang sa shop nila, sa may motor shop nila, yung palang illegal recruiter na yan.
Okay.
So red
So
flags.
normally do they have to display a license or authority from the POEA?
Usually sa office kasi, diba, within the office, naka-display na lahat doon, pati yung mga do's and don'ts, yung organizational charts nila. Kasi sa atin, sa illegal recruitment or sa illegal recruitment, dapat makikita doon ng tao kung ano doon yung, kung sino-sino yung mga connected sa agency. Otherwise, yung tao yung kahit license yung agency, illegal recruiter yun sa sense natin.
How do they typically know if you're a licensed agency? They can check the website or anong
yun ang best way natin, check with the website.
If you're
at
licensed,
www.poea.gov.ph.
And you updated yun? Updated pa natin
po
yun of all the licensed
Or you could call us at 722-1144 or 722-1155. Hotline natin yon to check kung license or not yung agency or yung taong nagre-recruit sa kanila.
Now, typically, the challenge here sometimes, no, like for example, in this case, there are some cases we were talking about it earlier, na sometimes just merely referring, di ba? When we define recruitment and placement, merely referring someone to a particular job, whether local or abroad, right? And whether for profit or not, that we were discussing earlier that can be considered already illegal recruitment. Attorney
That's
Victoria?
recruitment already. If you refer a person to someone to apply, that's already recruitment.
So
You are
basically,
recruiting it.
if I say to someone, hey, I saw something online. It's a job. Why don't you check that out? It seems like they're hiring someone, and that person checks that site, and naloko siya. Technically, I can be
technically,
can be
you are
sued.
guilty of you are recruiting, and
Yeah.
if that person may include you in the suit.
Yeah, and are there cases like that? Are there?
Yes.
Yeah, there are cases like that.
We encountered a lot
Okay.
in our office.
So you have to be really careful.
And
No?
Attorney Guy, I'd like to go back to the case of Belle. She mentioned so many charges. Buti nga linista niya of that were incurred when they were applying pa lang with this recruitment agency. Alin dito in a normal, legitimate recruitment scenario, ano ba talaga dapat lang ang binabayaran when you're applying?
A rule of thumb natin, general rule natin, you'll be paying the placement fee na charge ng recruitment kapag nakapirma ka ng kontrata.
Okay.
Kasi that would be the only time na malalaman mo kung ano yung karapat-dapat na dapat bayar, which is 1 month placement fee.
Okay. So in the
Yun ang general
meantime, you're
rule
not
natin.
supposed to be paying for anything
Yes.
unless they've secured a job for you.
Yes.
Now, attorneys, let's say they file a case for estafa, which is in this case it could also fall under
Yes.
estafa.
Yes.
They can still file a case with
Yes.
regarding illegal recruitment, right?
Yes.
So it doesn't necessarily.
It doesn't necessarily. Illegal recruitment under Republic Act 10022 and estafa under RPC 315. So pwede yan simultaneously.
Okay. And Attorney Vicky, I'd like to ask you, kasi we all know that sometimes court cases take a long time and it seemed like Belle was already frustrated.
Yeah.
For people like her, what can your agency do for them? Considering there are so many people asking for, they may need non-court help assistance.
Okay, Kandungan Center Foundation provides free legal assistance. For example, we have a pool of lawyers to handle cases of illegal recruitment, whether simple or large scale. So to expedite it, based on our experience, for example, day one, we have 61 clients, 61 complainants, but at the end of the day, some of the recruiters would settle it one at a time. And then, for example, for a span of 5 years, that 61 will now reduce to 2. So it becomes a simple. We had one like that. So we want to expedite it. Of course, we lobby to different courts. Because we are an NGO, medyo may konting angas kami. So, so to
That's
speak.
great.
Now, what is a typical time frame when, for example, when I file a case? I know every
Yes.
case is a different scenario, no? But what is the usual time frame before you can resolve a case? Just for our viewers to know, no? Yeah, if I file a case, how long will it take?
Okay, to give an example, the one in Bulacan, we started it way back in 1997. And it was, we finished it way back in 2004. We have a conviction in 2004.
So that was 3 years? Sorry.
No, 7 years.
7 years.
Yes.
Okay.
7
That's
years.
pretty
Yeah.
good. I mean, by
Yeah.
Philippine standards. And is it difficult to reach your foundation, or can they email or call?
Okay, it's they can call us at 928-2384, and also we have a website and also have a Facebook page.
Okay, so for our viewers out there, you can reach Kanlungan. They really help people who are victims of illegal recruitment. They have a website and a phone. And another concern I have, so the best thing to prevent illegal recruitment is really prevention first, diba? Knowledge. And does the POEA have, for instance, a list of illegal recruitment agencies that at least, that have already been reported, or para if people are offered like a placement, they can check, is this a legitimate recruitment?
Meron kaming database na mga agencies, including the personnel. So all personnel na connected sa agency, they are considered as licensed. So yung wala dun sa database, those are unlicensed.
Okay.
Now, in terms of the disposition of cases, I know you mentioned around 7 years. In the case of POEA, are you a bit clogged? Is it a bit clogged now in your particular branch?
The one thing, sorry, I noticed is statistics. I read recent statistics that the past 5 years, the number of illegal recruitment cases have increased, but those that have been resolved have actually decreased. I mean, yung rate. Yung rate ng pag-resolve ng cases.
Why is it it seems like there seems to be a decline in terms of number of this resolution of cases?
Actually, we're wondering nga eh. Talagang sa amin, sa office namin, dwindling talaga ang number of cases ng illegal recruitment. Pero, yung administrative cases, which is the counterpart ng criminal case namin, tumataas. So parang ang dating sa amin, sa POEA, well-informed ang public na they have to go to the licensed agencies. Pero yun nga, diba, hindi naman lahat ng licensed agencies medyo good, medyo may mga...
If I may
Kahit
add,
sila,
Yes,
they're-
Attorney Victor.
If I may add, because there are, during the prosecution stage or at the PI level, preliminary investigation, a lot of complainants would settle. So for example, they initiated the case and then after a few weeks, a month, and then they will settle for a meager amount.
Now, issuing of warrants of arrest, for example, is the what power does the POEA have with that?
Of course, the POA doesn't have the power to issue warrants of
Okay.
arrest. So it's
Just
the
to
court.
be clear for
We have to go to the
viewers.
courts, tapos yung courts ang mag-issue ng warrants of arrest niyan.
Okay, but you can cause the issuance of, right? You can cause it, meaning you can initiate it.
We could initiate the filing of the complaint.
Filing complaint, right?
And then we would assist the complainants from the preliminary investigation. We would appear as special counsel for them. And then from then on, go to court, appear as special collaborating prosecutors.
Okay. Now, I'd like to answer a few more questions from our viewers. And one is from a Twitter account, and it's a guy named Ron, and he asks, how much is the total cost to fix papers for work abroad, and what is the process? So I guess, Attorney Guy, this is something you can help us with. In terms of cost, it's really hard to say because wala namang definite number. But Ron, in terms of what you should be paying, you should not be paying unless you are able to get a job already. And the authorized amount is only 1 month of the salary. So that's supposed to be the placement fee. But there can be what you call documentation fees, but they should not be very expensive kasi ito yung mga photocopy or yung pag-notarize.
Or pag-authenticate ng documents.
So,
Yes.
dapat hindi excessive. It's certainly 1,500 per fax. Medyo malaki yun.
And Attorney Gan, what's the normal range pag documentation cost? Ano dapat ini-expect ng mga tao?
Siguro mga 10,000.
10,000 abot ng 10,000.
At least, okay. Now, we have another question. Okay, our next question comes from Erica via phone patch. Erica, what's your question?
Good evening, attorney.
Good evening.
I just want to know if it is safer to apply online for jobs abroad than with agencies. Is the process of fixing papers the same?
All right.
Okay.
Attorney
So what do
Victoria?
you think, Attorney?
Is it safer
Vicky
online?
and
No,
Attorney-
I guess it's safer if you go to the office rather than online.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at least pagka here, it's you know that it's a Philippine entity and you know that they're covered by the Philippine laws, meaning they're required to have a license. You can check their license with the POEA and you can report them if they have a violation. Not like pag abroad, they'll be covered by foreign laws. So baka hindi mo man lang mahabol, no?
Yeah.
Saka baka walang
Now,
jurisdiction.
But have you had reports of online illegal recruiters?
Oo, mahirap talaga siya kasi hindi natin makuha, wala tayong identity.
you don't know.
yeah.
Marami kaming
Could be
victims
anyone.
na ganyan na medyo wala kaming magawa as of the moment kasi under investigation baka kasi yung counterpart natin sa CIDG, yung Anti-Transnational and Cybercrime Division na meron na yata silang capacity to investigate sa mga online scams. And the NBI, of course.
Now, just to differentiate it, no, I know some of our viewers might be confused with the trafficking in persons law, yung anti-trafficking, and vis-a-vis illegal recruitment. In a nutshell, no, as we're wrapping up soon, what's the difference between anti-trafficking and illegal recruitment?
Anti-trafficking is broader than illegal recruitment.
Anti-trafficking is
because-
broader, okay.
It's broader. And recruitment is just one facet of illegal trafficking or the trafficking in person act.
Okay, what makes it anti-trafficking? What's the one aspect or one element that's ano?
Kasi sa trafficking, tatlo naman elements and acts means an exploitative purpose. Sa illegal recruitment, dalawa lang naman ang element na kailangan mo i-prove. Recruitment, and then usual, walang license.
Walang license. Or
Walang
if may license,
license.
any of the acts that we
Na
mentioned, na kunwari,
oo.
overcharging ng placement fee.
And
or
yun sa trafficking, yun lang, yung kailangan i-prove yung acts means, and again, the most important element, exploitative purpose. Kailangan ipakita mo exploitation.
Yeah, I see. All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Attorney Mendez, Attorney Victoria. That's
Thank
all
you.
the time we have for tonight. We would like to thank, of course, our guests. No, again, Attorney Mendez and Attorney Victoria for joining us. in discussing your legal rights on the issue of illegal recruitment. I'm Attorney Rod Nepomuceno.
And I'm Attorney Karen Jimeno. Join us again next Monday as we talk about your legal rights on the issue of the recently passed Air Passenger Bill of Rights. Good night.